So yeah, thank you for letting us come out with you that night to rescue the bear. That was an amazing experience. And I noticed 2 years ago when we met you briefly, you have the same crew member, some of them.
Yeah, most of them, they are the same crew member. 4 years ago, when we just started the team, the Wildlife Rescue Unit, we were only 1 vet and 5 rangers.
So the rangers, are they stable team with the specific vet, or are they all interchangeable?
No, we like to do rotation because then they can learn everything. Because we want to attend the report as fast as we can. So we have to send the vet that is on that time closer and the team that is closer. So we cannot be very choosy, like, oh, you are the vet in charge of elephants, so you have to now cross the whole Saba to go to know. It's like we try to be like in different places all the time, and the nearest vet is the one who goes and attend the report.
With the elephants, it's elephants going into plantations, I assume.
Yeah.
And what about the orangutan? Is it just the pet trade? Or?
No, also sometimes orangutans go to the plantation and practice things. They make their nets with the ponds. They eat the fruit sometimes, or sometimes it's just the people doesn't like. The problem, for example, with carnivores like bear, clouded leopard, and also with orangutans, primates, gibbons also we have, proboscis monkey we have, is like we have been clear a lot of areas, a lot of forests, either for plantations or either for roads or to make a village. So the forest got isolated. So the main problem that we have is like we got a call when there is a group of animals just pocket in a small patch of forest. So, and they don't have any other place to go because they are surrounded by villagers, roads, plantations. So we have to rescue, capture them, and do a translocation to a bigger forest. I think it's with any wildlife, even with elephants, we do exactly the same. You know, we have classified our wildlife. Those animals we consider Schedule 1, totally protected. So sun bear is inside this category, and here are the birds.
So when you arrive, you have to make an estimate of the bear's weight, because then you have to give the anesthetic.
So first thing that we have to see when we arrive is, first, we try to check the bear. As how is he moving, how is, because sometimes they have some injuries, or they can be like not walking properly. So it's just to analyze everything as fast as we can. You know, it's just a general view, see the eyes, see the bird, see how is the mouth, how is the body, everything, to make sure that he's healthy and bright and alert. You know, and after that we have to estimate the body weight to calculate how much anesthesia we're gonna give. It has to be good enough for the bird to be deeply sleeping and be handleable, to put him in another cage and do any check that we have to do, but not too long to allow the bear to wake up during transportation. We've been improving all these techniques. The boys, all of them, they are local. They know already, like, step by step, okay, now is the time for darting. They always help me to move the people or any other pet that is crossing the way.
Okay, so tiada orang sebelah sana.
Okay, it's just, so no, she said nobody on that side.
Yes, my friend. Kau sana? Kau sana lah. Kau belum tahu lagi apa maksud ini ya. Tunggu kau tahu barulah kau lah.
Also, they know, like, step by step. After darting the bear, they know that they have to start to open the cage, monitoring the bear, take a stick to check how is the bear from far away.
Okay.
Such a great team.
They were the ones who actually proposed me years ago. Doc, can we have something like a canvas to use it as a treasure? So they know already. They are so creative. And then.
So what does it take to get in to the wildlife crew?
We give 3 months under probation to the new guys that they want to come. And during those 3 months, we have basically intensive training with wildlife.
Okay.
But here at Lokawi Wildlife Park.
Right.
So they get familiar to work with elephants, they get familiar to hold many existing, to work with primates, with orangutans. Some of them, they got bites. So
do they last, or do they go, that's it, I'm out of
here? The one that got bitten, he lasts. Yeah, he's still around.
Oh, wow. So, that's a good story to tell them.
Exactly. Wow. So we also send them with the deer.
That's not a test, right?
No, it's okay, yeah. So his temperature now is 38.5. So because normally sometimes they get hot. We don't want him to get overheat. We are gonna put some water before we put him inside the cage. Okay, no, this is just antibiotic because normally after the anesthesia, they got so stressed, and the stress can reduce their natural defense. So we put some antibiotic to prevent any infection. This is the worming to kill any parasites or whatever that he might get from here. And then this is, and last one, it's a zombie complex, vitamin complex, just also to reduce the stress and help him.
That's right. One was saying they heard about the SPCC, or read about it in the papers, and they called them.
TV, sometimes just a simple magazine can help a lot. In the beginning was only rescue operations with orangutans and elephants. Up to now, we have rescue operations of orangutans, elephant, dolphins, turtles, sunbears, proboscis monkey, snakes. So because the people know there is someone who can do it. Good boy. Thank you. Thank you. Wildlife vet mesti nampak. Last, my friend. Sorry. Coming. Okay, let me take. Okay, sini lang. Kau tarik. Yes, my friend. Thank you so much. Thank you for the blood. Very good, guys. So, because normally the bears, because of their metabolism, it's easy for them to get overheat when they are under anesthesia. So he's 38.5, which is a bit high. And thinking on the transportation, before we put him in the cage, we are gonna give him a bath. So keep him wet all the way through KK. In these bears, the temperature just have this tendency to go up while they are under anesthesia. So we are always like standby with water or ice, just in case. But imagine if a bear just go on the transportation cage and in the car all the way, and he's still sleeping with these risks of high temperature, that is going to be fatal for them. So we try to, once we put them in the cage, we try like it's already on the process of waking up and recovery from the anesthesia. So the anesthesia cannot be like that long, cannot take that long. Oh, Sukari, you have the camera? Boleh ambil gambar dia punya ini? Dia punya matahari. Kasi dia.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, each bear has a different mark. It's like a digital, yeah, like a fingerprint, exactly. Yeah, that's what I asked me to take the photo. So we know this bear is from here. Okay, guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well done, guys.
Say bye-bye. You will be okay. In this case, it was a bit easier because the owner, the one who called and say, I have a bear here, please come. We have another difficult operations and perhaps a bit more risky when they don't surrender, but we got the report from someone else, perhaps for a neighbor or another people that tell us, this guy is keeping an orangutan, this guy is keeping a sun bear. So then the enforcement team has to go there and confiscate the animal. So it's completely a different scenario. And the enforcement team, we have to have a very professional training, which is not covered only with one time you do the training. Keep on practicing and do the training again and do the training again. So because it's not easy to handle all these kind of difficult situations. Every time that we are treating with the first scheduled animal, which means they are fully protected species, like in this case the sun bear, the enforcement team, they have to be there. So any operation that involves any animals inside Schedule 1, we have to bring an enforcement warden to do, and they have to take like kind of a statement from the people.
Well, are they police or what are they?
The wildlife police. So basically what they took on that day was like, how do they get the bear? If they sell it, if not, and how was that? For how long they keep it? Why they decided to call the Saba Wildlife Department? And of course, so we have the information in the future, like what is the base of all this trade, in this case with sun bears. It's our protocol. If it's a Schedule 1 species, enforcement officers, they have to follow. Thankfully, it was an exceptional case when we could have a healthy bear that was kept for a year. This case, it was like 1 in a million. Normally, we find every time that we go to confiscate a bear, they normally are not in a good condition. This could mean that they are so skinny or they are too fat. Montom was, I told them, you are a very handsome bear. But because he was just kept very well.
And one of the first things you asked was what they fed the bear. And the bear's favorite food was ice Milo.
Ice Milo. That's what they say. His favorite food is ice Milo. So, yeah, normally we try to keep all the records, how they feed the bear. Imagine we already are causing a lot of stress, changing them from one place to another, from one people to another. So if we change the diet just drastically, it's too much. For my side as Wildlife Rescue Unit, I do a report, and that report is passed to BSBCC. In this peculiar case, when it was like a pet, and the owners, they gave to the bear, we gave our contact numbers, so they can call anytime the Saba Wildlife Department or BSBCC to ask how is Montom going. Actually, their first call, it was straight to BSBCC. Then BSBCC called WRU to tell us, we got this report, please go and take the bear.
And obviously this is wrongs against the law, as sun bears is protected species and no one is allowed to keep or kill a sun bears.
It must be very frustrating. Once the bear comes to you, that's many, many, many years.
Yes, many years and lots of money. But we have to help these types of bear. And this is why this center, this Borneo Sun Bear Conservation Center is set up for, to help those captive bear that people keep as pets. And then we try to help them as much as possible. If we can return them back into the wild, we want to do that. You know, we want people to learn, we want people to know about the bears and the forest. By knowing them, then they can start to care about them, start to concern about them, and start to protect them. That's the goal. Yeah.
It's one of the things that makes me really happy and positive. Before, you have to teach everyone and explain to them what you have to do, what you don't have to do, how we handle it at this animal, how you handle this other one. And now, after years, we reach a point when I can just do my vet work, and I know that we do whatever what they have to do, and they just work so smooth and so nicely. For example, on that day, while we were doing work with a sun bear, another team was doing work with an elephant, and another team was tracking an orangutan. So they just do it on their own. So that really, really fills me of optimism, because I know these young guys has learned already all those things, and they can just carry on and transmit this knowledge to another and to another to another. We start with 5, and will be more and more people who is working for rescue wildlife.